telegram. I don't pop no jelly beans. Foreign car you never seen. You go for some happy clean.
Put your mouth right over that hole. Put your mouth there and speak it in there. Let it all go. Come on, speak it in the hole. Speak it in the hole.
I don't understand.
You don't have to understand. Lean not on your own understanding, but honor God in all thy ways, and he will direct your path. What if your healing depends on you speaking that craziness into that hole? What if? What if it's just that simple? What if you don't have to hurt? What if you don't have to understand? What if you don't have to like it? What if you don't have to feel it? What if all you have to do is speak it into that hole? Would you be willing to do that? Do it. Put your head down. Let your head go. Come on. Put your head on the earth. Put your head on the earth. Relax and speak. Let it go, William. Let it go.
Station.
Yeah. Speak. Whisper. You don't have to say it out loud. Yeah, there you go. Did you speak it? Okay, so now we're gonna bury it.
Okay, so there was a great big conversation about this video after I posted it. A lot of Christians, to my surprise, didn't recognize it as witchcraft, and they thought that I was just picking on her because she was using strange practices. And they said, well, the Bible has some strange practices. Listen, I can respect that. This is not about strange practices. This is about witchcraft. This is about Christians taking practices from another religion and incorporating it into their own lives in order to fix their lives. So here she had the guy put his head on the earth. She was very, very persistent and insistent that he would put his head on the ground. Okay, that's moforibale. That's moforibale. We read about that. That is a form of worship. When they worship the deities, they have to put their head down on the ground. Why a hole in the ground?
Todas las personas que participan en esta ceremonia se van a limpiar con todos estos ingredientes que hay aquí y se van a ir limpiando y le van tirando para el hueco. Así se van a quitar toda la negatividad, todas las cosas negativas que tenga, todas las enfermedades, todas las cosas malas que en un momento determinado han cogido o le han echado para arriba.
So here we have a guy who's explaining his religion. He speaks Spanish because he's probably practicing either Santeria or Lukumi, which again is the same religion. And he even names some of the deities. He names Shango. He names the same deities that we read about in the beginning of this video. And he says, you clean yourself and throw these things into the hole. You get rid of the negative energy that way. You get rid of negative energy by throwing it into the hole. So I had somebody who practices the faith. After they saw the video, they sent me a message and they were like, oh, okay, well, what she's doing is a ritual and she's giving the problem, she's having the person give the problem to the deity that lives in the earth. And this is a part of their religion. This is something that they do in their religion. So again, it's not just about her.
We want them crushed and crumbled. You understand? We want them off your heart.
The exercise that you saw me do with Tiffany in this week's episode is called Pro-EFT, commonly known as tapping. It is a spiritual technology, a
Christian's life. Here's another clip of her engaging in spiritual practices on the show.
I want you to do this. Oh. I want you to do this. Just do this. Yeah, just do that. That's all right. That's all right. We want them crushed and crumbled. You understand? We want them off your heart.
The exercise that you saw me do with Tiffany in this week's episode is called Pro-EFT, commonly known as tapping. It is a spiritual technology, a healing technology that allows you to move energy through and out of your body. Tapping has both a physiological, a psychological, an emotional, and a spiritual impact on your body because it releases energy. So tapping is one way to release negative and toxic energy from your life, your body, your mind, and your spirit so that you can create the life you desire.
She's telling you it's a spiritual practice. This is something, not that something that she just made up. It's not just something that, you learn as a therapist or a counselor, although I'm sure they incorporate some of these practices into therapy and counseling, but they're spiritual, mystical to us.
I ain't know. I should have known, but I ain't know. Iyanla Vanzant. He fought which Voodoo Priestess, man. You know? That's her name, Rhonda Evers. They say she a new ager. Right? I ain't gonna read it all. I ain't gonna hold y'all long, But it's all here for you. Yoruba, we know what Yoruba is. Okay? She saying flat out she a priestess. Right? Now, nowadays when you can kind of tell when somebody in the E5, right? If you know what to look for, you can tell. Look, once dismissed as a ghetto religion practiced by Caribbean poor and uneducated, Santeria has grown a following amongst middle-class professionals, including white, black, and Asian Americans. In New York, they pray to Obatala, the father of all deities, Orisha. Okay? So motherfuckers is doing voodoo up in their apartment, especially in New York. Especially in New York. Okay? When the Africans met Rome, right? You see how I say it merged. This is your Europa, right? This is so when I tell y'all everything New Age and all that is connected to voodoo. All this shit come from voodoo, right? You can pause and read this, but it kind of explains everything I'm saying. So y'all been keeping up with the videos, you already know, right? When Rome met Africa, but it ain't the troglodyte ain't came up with nothing new. But you see, Santeria is steeped in occultism, necromancy, divination, witchcraft. Like, you can pause and read that. This is people that's in it to win it. People that's playing the game, not in the stands like me. Just talking about people that's doing it is telling you, right? You see, Satan like to import, export himself. So that was pretty good. Y'all check into that, right? Dibble and dabble, right? Iyanla Vanzant, celebrities that dibble and dabble. Did you know? ATR, African tradition, religion. African, the diaspora, religion, and spirituality. Every time you drink a Starbucks coffee, you are paying homage to the voodoo deity Mama Wata. Yeah, don't split that $5 Joe. Indulge in the indigenous culture, Mama Wata, right? The mermaid. We talked about this. Moo, Moors, right? You can pause and read this, but the Congo, it lay it all out, right? I suggest y'all pause and read that, you know what I mean? But we got D'Angelo off the break. They explain how he get down with the voodoo. You see, he got the beads. Okay, he got an album called Voodoo. My Neck, My Back girl, she involved. I didn't know Usher. You should have known, but I didn't know. They got Shango attached to Usher. Well, he look African. So he probably, but here we go. This what borders here, Iyanla Vanzant. Right? Iyanla Vanzant. Forrest Whitaker, Danny Glover. Fits perfectly. The Queen of Salsa, Celia Cruz. I mean, I'm hoping, like you said, juju. This is where the Jews come from, voodoo, juju. That's why it's a sex magic symbol for you. Like, we ain't even gonna get off topic, but yeah, that, okay, we got Shaka Khan. I ain't know, but shoulda known. Right? Lucy, I'm home. Honey, I'm home. We say, Lucy, I'm home. J-Lo. Okay. These is voodoo practitioners. Amara La Negra, shoulda known. Shoulda known. Pause and read it. El Hajj Malik Shabazz himself. But see, this is the connection to Islam to voodoo, right? We might have to make a video about this. How is Malcolm X associated with voodoo? Because I'm gonna have to probably short the album. You know, when you bow down to Allah, Dambala, right? When you bow down to Allah, you put your head to the ground. You saw what was happening with the ritual. You pray and you saying your prayers into the ground like Iyanla had dude doing. All right, I'm glad this is a highly educational one for y'all. Y'all can pause and read this. Y'all didn't know Malcolm X. Y'all didn't know Malcolm X was voodoo. Y'all pause and read. Pause and read. Slow the video down. Get it in. I ain't gonna read you. You know, it's a lot, so I ain't gonna read you half to death. But I suggest you read it. And dear Ari, shoulda known. Shoulda known. Didn't know, but shoulda known. Now Erykah Badu, we knew. Cold-blooded witch. Cold-blooded witch. No discussion. Y'all pause and read this, man. Pause and read this. Fat Joe, Masonic symbol, temple pointing to the temple, like Malcolm X did. Okay, Kevin Gates, Masonic finger pointing up. You know, he from Louisiana. I don't know who these two is. Oh, they like a Spanish group or something. But yeah, y'all pause and read that, man. But yeah, Iyanla Vanzant, man, Voodoo Priestess. Let's go.
Listen, I don't know what it is when it comes to the black church, what I do, and Iyanla Vanzant. Y'all give us so much issue. I think that's the reason why when she called into my show, she was going off because she already felt like I done had enough of these Christian black church people. So these pictures hit the internet. In Maryland, she is ordaining a female apostle. It's an affirmation service. And she's one of the people who are actually anointing with oil. And I guess she's speaking prophetically or she's praying or something like that. And people have a serious problem with it. Saying that she's a witch, she's this, she's that. It reminds me of some of the Beyonce stuff because she tends to honor African spirituality. Let me tell you something that you did not know.
I'm sorry, but it's me. If you don't know, Iyanla Vanzant is mainly known for her Fix My Life show on OWN, where she basically takes the role of a life coach, and she goes and tries to help people. Usually it's really deep.
Let me be clear who this is for. You are either an Ifa priestess or you are working to become an Ifa priestess. You have created hell for yourself.
And she was like, I remember to fix my life. You know what I mean? You
BY is real. Listen to my words very carefully. Follow the voice.
But use the information that you have to do better than you did yesterday.
I said what I said.
This how you
Congratulations, young Miami.
You gotta
run as fast as Cassie
words
did.
with.
Close your eyes.
You say
desired
voodoo. For
people
example,
know.
You just put
Asking the question.
Okay.
You don't have to
You
come
may
out.
start getting somewhere.
The other part of her memory.
I am a minister in one of the most ancient traditions of.
I must say,
I am a Yoruba priest.
And then the video
BY is real.
Put your mouth right over that hole.
with it.
Put your mouth there and speak it in there.
You know, you put
And then I realized
conspiracy or
3 things
Illuminati
I
or
wish people would
voodoo
stop
or
doing. Number 1,
satanic. You know, you put a word
stop
with a
calling me with
word, you get
bullshit.
different answers.
I can't fix that. That's not
You
my
know, that's how
line
you
of
beat this algorithm.
just taking him down. You got all of this on
Told you,
your nurturing center, your birthing center, your sexual center, and you standing at full mass. A nasty, vile.
Let me be clear who this is for.
Listen, you gotta close today with how to be spiritual without being religious. All right? Here we go.
So it's like,
I'm
I ain't
reading
know but
from
shoulda known.
chapter 2.
Put this on. When you are in the military and you hear
A lot of people that got that shaved head, when they shave half their head, that's kind of indication, right? So she fixed your life with voodoo. She had Iyanla fix my life with voodoo.
Most know Iyanla Vanzant as a best-selling author, television personality, and empowerment speaker. And here she is speaking most recently in Oahu, the spiritual retreat of the IFA Foundation in North America's first annual Sacred Orisha Garden Festival. Few know that Iyanla was initiated an IFA priest at the IFA Foundation of North America.
Voodoo ceremony.
Here she is with Iavasa, 2 ears, 2 female IFA priests, and answering questions from the audience. And here she is with a little old Philip Nymark, Iavasa, and Iyanla Vanzant.
They see it blend in with the Christianity, right? We did videos on Christian hoodoo, right? So Yoruba is, no, let me say that Yoruba is witchcraft because what we know as witchcraft comes from voodoo, Yoruba, Ifa, West African traditional spiritual practice, right? It is people not going to tell you that and connect those dots. So motherfuckers say it's not.
Picture of Iyanla Vanzant doing an apostolic affirmation. Number 1, none of this is biblical. But number 2, Iyanla is a Yoruba priestess, which means this is a witch calling herself anointing an apostle. 1 John 4:1 says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they be of God, because many false prophets are going out into the world." There are people who love conventions, love convocations, love revivals, and you don't know who was the one who anointed the person that's running that revival. The problem isn't Iyanla. That's not the problem. The problem is that she has now put her impartation upon someone in the so-called church. And this person is going to disperse the same impartation to the attendees in that room. It's going to go all over the nation. You're going to invite people to run your revivals. You're going to invite people into your conferences, and you don't know who they have been in fellowship with, and you don't know the spirit that you're bringing in your assembly, because all we want to do is gather people and make money. This is why I tell people to get a good grounding in the Word of God. I don't care.
Oh, your intellect is one place and your spirit is one place and your body is someplace else. But in Yoruba culture, you are seen as mind, body, and spirit. So an illness in any one part of you will affect an illness in another part of you. Holistic approach to living, not a segment.
So, hoodoo, witch top, Iyanla Vanzant, hoodoo was voodoo. You know, Oprah is connected with this shit. You know Oprah probably doing this shit, right? Vanya and Iyanla Vanzant about being a witch. It's you know. So when she fixed your life, I'm gonna fix your life for you, all right? Right? Black Lives Matter, veneration of the dead,
It's a
ancestor
hit
worship.
show on OWN Network. You've known her for years with Oprah Winfrey. This is another season of her show. Iyanla is about to join us live. Iyanla Vanzant, she's so good about healing people's lives. She joins us right now. But Iyanla, I have to ask you, where did your name come from, and where's that pretty smile from?
Iyanla means great mother. It's not really a name, it's a title. And I was given that title when I was initiated and ordained as a minister in the Yoruba tradition.
Yes, Iyanla Vanzant is a voodoo priestess. Born in Brooklyn, New York, the great mother goddess. Vanzant practices an African traditional religion based in oracles of Ifa. Okay? High priestess. This ain't, what's the little bride name? This ain't, Amanda Seals. This ain't Cam Newton. They just priestess. This high priestess. Okay. Should have known Iyanla was a high priest. Like I should have known. That's on me. Okay, that's on me. Ordained, they should say initiated. I guess you already initiated before you can get ordained. And she got that like weird scratchy voice. That. Sometimes you can tell people in the spirit, playing with spirits, when they voice got that be like that. You don't even sound like the vibration of your voice is hitting wrong. Right? But you see, it's Yoruba voodoo, they say no. Right? Despite this, both Santeria and voodoo has some similarities. So you mean to tell me Santeria is separate from? That's why I see they can't trick you, right? When you know what's up, you know Santeria comes from West African traditional. Listen to the verbiage. Santeria is just when motherfuckers move and laugh and the shit. You mean the practice travel? It's not a independent. Santeria is not its own independent religious practice. It's Yoruba, it's Ifa, it's Orisha, it's Obatala, right? Come on now. It's that Baba, Allah, Papa, right? Papa Shango, Allah, like the same, right? So let's get into it. Okay, new age, new thought, new religious movement. Okay, so she getting into the new age shit. You see, you got Hindu, Society of Krishna. Look at the position he's sitting in. I told you about that leg cross. They got all of them: Hindu, Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity. See, this is why New Age can connect back to voodoo, because everything comes from voodoo. So you can circle it back and buckle up. You can Ouroboros it, like you can drag it. You can pull everything together, because all this shit come from the West African traditional, right? The Dogon is an example of that. They mapped out the stars, then by the time the other people get it, it's astrology and whoop-de-bop. Like, all this shit has a origin point. Your iPhone 14 has an origin point, right? You just been building off people that, did it first. You changing it up, but you know an iPhone when you see it. You dig what I'm saying? You can give me different versions, but it's an iPhone. But Yeah, man. This is African American occultism. This is West African occultism. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit y'all with another one of them African secret societies. I think it's about that time. Rhonda Eve. Right? So she basically on some new age shit.
I am a Yoruba priestess. I am a minister in one of the most ancient traditions of African spirituality that exist. The Yoruba tradition are based on the oracles of Ifa. So the oracles of Ifa are the sacred scriptures for the Yoruba people.
Right. So this is how you fix your life. You want somebody to do something. You want something to happen. You know, Dr. Umar with this shit. Man, we have to do a deep dive on Dr. Umar. Cause I think when he changed his name to Ifa Tune, that's when this Ifa, I knew I was like, oh shit, Tune Day is like big. So somebody else had it right out there. Can Voodoo fix your life? I bet Iyanla can fix your life. Great mother, Mama Wata. She can fix your life, all right? Fix, hex. Like you know how somebody, the game is fixed. Like fixed don't always mean good. Somebody say the game is fixed. They fixed the results. It's been fixed. Right? This is how you fix the life.
The first time I experienced what I knew to be God. Yeah. It was feminine. It was a woman in the mirror, standing behind me, said to me, your beauty is within.
Hi guys, it's Nevi. Thank you for joining me today. And so these things that have to do with fortune telling, if you are communicating with the dead, if you are using names to possess them. And so that is one of the main points of the gatherings, to be able to receive guidance and history about yourself and spiritual knowledge from these deities. Here it says, prayers and offerings need not be done solely at temple shrines. They may be done at the natural site of the Orisha essence. The earth itself is viewed as a shrine in this respect. Devotees may religiously seek the Orisha from this perspective as well. And so I will get back to why that's important later, but I just want you to hold on to that information. Next, Yoruba forms of placing the body in positions of reverence are called muforibale. I place my head to the earth is the term that is solemnly uttered by the devotees when homage is paid to their ancestors, orishas, or to the priestly. So the next question is, what is witchcraft? Because there seems to be today this very fluid understanding of what witchcraft is and what it isn't. And if we don't see somebody flying by on a broomstick or holding a big pot of whatever and whispering spells, then that's not witchcraft and that's not a witch. But let's go to the Bible and see what the Bible has to say. Well, first, let's see what this says. The witchcraft is basically defined as the practice of magic, particularly or especially black magic, and the use of spells. In the modern context, it is a religious practice involving magic and affinity with nature, usually within a pagan tradition. So an affinity with nature, a relationship with nature, that's not necessarily something wrong to have an understanding of nature. But there's a particular emphasis placed on nature itself rather than the creator, as we read in the Bible. Here we go. So we're going to define some of the biblical terms before I give you some Bible verses. We're going to define some of the terms that you may see. The Bible tells us not to consult with one with a familiar spirit. The definition or the original word there is also translated other places, necromancer. A necromancer is someone who evokes the dead, speaks to the dead. We saw the Babalao talking about letting your ancestors guide you, right? A wizard is a person who conjures up spirits, who has knowledge of ghosts. An enchanter is someone who practices divination, observes signs, diligently observes fortune telling, takes as an omen to practice divination. So these things that have to do with fortune telling, if you are communicating with the dead, if you are using nature to create change in your life, those things are seen as witchcraft. So what does the Bible have to say? Exodus 20 verse 3, and I'm just going to give you a few examples of biblical text referring to witchcraft. Exodus 20 verse 3. First, most importantly, thou shalt have no other gods before me. That word before does not mean ahead of or more important than I am. That word before means in my face. Like, how are you going to do this sin before me? Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the Bible is present. Witches and people who use sorcery and Wiccans, they will tell you that they often do use the Bible. They will quote it. They do believe that there's power in it, but they do not subscribe to it. And there is a big difference there. So then she has another prayer here for you to pray to your guardian spirits. She didn't use the word Orishas, but that's who she's referring to. Here's a clip from the Breakfast Club where she did an interview and she talks about her work.
Even now in the world, what other black women do you see doing spiritual work outside of the church publicly? Who?
I mean,
what am I looking at?
I guess you could consider Oprah now with the Super Soul podcast.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So that is about it. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we're aligned.
Notice how she says spiritual work outside of the church. Black women doing spiritual work. She refers to herself. She is identified as a spiritual guide. But again, we have to keep in mind, what spirits is she following? The Orishas and her ancestors, according to her own words, are who guide her.
And I think what really my foundation was, I developed an intimate, loving relationship with my sugar daddy, God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not what I had been taught in the church and not what people told me I had to do, but an intimate, loving relationship with God as I knew it through my culture, as a Native American and as an African. That's how I did it.
So not religion.
Not religion at all, you know, because my grandmother was a Chislaki, a Cherokee. So she taught me things about nature and the earth and the moving of the sun and the moon and blah, 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 which are just denounced, but it's cultural and it's spiritual. And then I was raised a Yoruba in my life, in my family. So understanding who I was as a descendant of Africans with a rich culture and a spiritual tradition and spiritual history. So I put those two things together and then said, okay, now where does Jesus fit in this? You understand? And really developed a relationship with a God of my understanding that didn't think I was wretched and born in sin and was going to hell if I smoked a joint. I didn't, you know, that's not the God I understand. And I developed a relation, and that's what moved me.
Here she's saying, I developed an intimate, loving relationship. Let's get on the show. And so I captioned it and I, put some slides on it, some titles to explain what was going on as it was happening. So here's the video.